What's up guys, Everything Apple Pro here, and we're less than 60 days away from the release of the brand new iPhone 6s. So in this video, I'm going to be compiling everything we know about this device based on leaks, rumors, and analysts to provide you with a good look at what to expect in this next generation iPhone. Now, before I get into the details, I just wanted to mention, as far as history goes with Apple, they've been pretty predictable with their designs. For 2 generations, they usually share the very same design, and this generation will be no exception. Apple is going to be releasing a new 6S and iPhone 6S Plus. I say this because there's been a new trending tag on Twitter, iPhone 7. Apple's not likely to break their tradition and start skipping the speed generation and go straight to the iPhone 7. So 6S and 6S Plus it is. Now, like any S upgrade in the past, Apple is going to be tweaking the internals of the device. They'll leave the shell looking very much the same as the previous iPhone 6 and 6 Plus. Now, as far as design differences go, there will likely be very little between the 6 and 6S. However, there will be a new color option. The new rose gold will be offered on the iPhone 6S, and it's going to be a more subtle shade than this. However, this will give us a good idea of what it will look like. And this is in a move to mirror the Apple Watch color choices, which is being currently offered in rose gold. And if you ask me, it's a fantastic color choice. And a couple smaller exterior changes we might be seeing: the FCC labels could no longer be required to be placed on the back of the device, so it will result in a cleaner look. Also, those antenna lines, not a lot of people agree with. They could actually adopt the color of the iPhone. So a new patent that Apple filed actually allows for a plastic that will look the same as anodized aluminium and match the color of it too. Another change that the 6S could be seeing is a 0.2 millimeters increase in thickness. Now, this could be for several reasons. For one, to accommodate that Force Touch technology, it's going to be adopted from the Apple Watch on the 6S. 2 is to make the structure more rigid so it's less likely to bend, and 3, possibly to accommodate a slightly larger battery. Although design will change very little, the actual material will change. The iPhone 6S will adopt the 7000 series aluminum used in the production of the Apple Watch, which will result in 60% stronger aluminum while retaining the same lightness and being 30% less dense than steel. Now, why am I so certain that there will be no design difference? Well, let me walk you through the history. Between the 3G and 3GS, the only physical difference was a slight lettering in the words on the back of the device. Between the 4 and 4S, the only difference was a slight change in antenna band placement. That's to prevent antenna gate. Between the 5 and 5S, there was a new color, new True Tone flash, and a new Touch ID ring around the home button. So besides that, there was very little physical difference. So my point basically is Apple doesn't change the design until 2 generations in. So we're definitely going to be seeing an iPhone 6S, not an iPhone 7. Don't believe everything you see on Twitter. Now, a lot of people seem to think Apple is going to be upgrading the displays. As far as the resolution or display size goes, there will be no difference. It'll still be an LCD panel. No, Apple's not going to make the jump to an OLED in just an S upgrade. It'll be the same exact panel, so I don't see what the big fuss is about. Don't expect a big change here. Now, there will be a change with the display, and it won't be with the resolution or size. It'll be the new Force Touch technology, and that's something taken straight from the Apple Watch. Now, Force Touch basically differentiates between a soft tap and a firm press on your display. Now, this opens up a world of new interaction with your device. Some practical uses of Force Touch based on a leak in the map application: instead of tapping to drop a pin, you can force tap and it'll actually drop one for you faster. Whenever playing any media such as video or music, you can scrub through music with different intensity based on how hard you're pressing on the button. That is really neat. Also, another one in the calendar application, you can just tap and hold with Force Touch and it'll basically just drop an event in there. So there's going to be a lot of under the skin interactions that weren't previously available, and this will have a large learning curve to it, but oh man, once you get used to it, it's going to be really worth it. I mean, on a touchscreen display, there's really not much you can do besides touch it. With this gives a 3D depth to your actual phone display, and that is really cool. Now, Force Touch is nice and all, but Apple is severely lagging behind in terms of screen durability. This year around, Apple's looking to change that. They're going to be using a custom blend of materials for the display of the iPhone 6 by the makers of Gorilla Glass 4, and this new material is not Gorilla Glass 4, but it'll retain the durability of it while having a scratch resistant nearly that of sapphire crystal. Now, what's less likely to happen in terms of display? Although Apple did purchase a company that specializes in touch display driver integration, which basically allows for edge-to-edge displays and even built-in Touch ID function, it's not likely to happen. And if it were, it definitely would not be on an S upgrade, possibly the iPhone 7. Now let's talk grip. As far as specs go, the iPhone 6 is no slouch. I mean, it is falling behind the competition, but Apple's going to want to up the ante. And with the iPhone 6s, Apple's going to be introducing the new A9 chip. It's a 14 nanometer construction compared to the 20 on the iPhone 6, and this is going to be Apple's second device behind the iPad Air 2 to feature 2GB of RAM. It will be 2GB LPDDR4 spec. Now there's no word on how many cores there could be, but it's possible it could be a triple core like the iPad Air 2, possibly even a quad core. But make no mistake, the iPhone 6s will be a powerhouse. Now the logic board from the iPhone 6s has leaked, and 9to5Mac reports that it actually is a little bit smaller, a little bit thinner, and it does have a new Qualcomm chip on it. That means the iPhone 6s will be capable of double the LTE download speeds as the current iPhone 6, from 150 to 300 megabits. Also, a couple other changes based on the spec sheet for this new Qualcomm chip. It will run cooler under intense duress, and it's actually built using a different nanometer construction from 20 to 14, so it is a lot more efficient. Also observed on this new logic board is a new NFC chip. It also combines the new secure element processor all into one chip, which could result into faster Touch ID since less chips are being used for one function. And now for some good news. In the latest report by an Apple analyst, he says that Apple's finally going to be getting with the times, and they're going to add a 32GB base option for iPhones. So it's going to be 32, 64, and 128GB size. Now this paired with the fact that iOS 9 is going to have less storage required for updates, also app thinning in the App Store, it's going to be a good thing for people that take up a lot of storage. You're going to have a lot left over. A base storage size of 32GB is awesome, and I really hope Apple sticks with that. Now Touch ID will receive some updates as well. It'll be more reliable for Apple Pay with less reading errors, and that's a welcome change as always. And finally, this brings us to the camera. Now this time around with the iPhone 6s, this will be the largest camera jump in Apple's entire iPhone history. We're going to be going from a measly 8 megapixels to 12 megapixels. It doesn't sound like much, but in the past we've gone from 0.3, 1.3 to 3 to 5 to 8, and here we are now. So this is going to be quite a significant jump. We're going to be seeing 4K video recording on a rear camera and a 1080p slow motion option. So that hasn't previously been available. It's always great to see that Apple moves forward with the camera, and this time around Apple is going to be reducing the size of the pixels to fit more into that little sensor. So what this means is basically when it comes to quality, there could be a very small increase. It's not likely to increase a lot, and low light performance might go down a little because as pixels get smaller, it's harder for them to pick up details in low light conditions. The front facing camera will be receiving some love as well. It'll now be a 5 megapixel wide angle sensor with 1080p video capabilities, and in a recent code leak it was learned that the front facing camera will be receiving some new functions as well. For one, it'll be capable of panoramic photos. Second, it'll be capable of slow motion as well, and third, there will be a front facing screen flash, so the entire screen will flash just like in Snapchat. And of course, if you opt for a smaller storage size, you'll be able to use iOS 9's new feature to change the resolution and everything in the camera settings to of course match all of your preferences. Now let's talk battery. If we take a look at the history of all S models, they do have a small yet justifiable increase in battery life. So this year there will be no exception. The 6S, based on rumors and leaks, will have a slightly larger battery, and this is based on the logic board. It is smaller and thinner in order to accommodate a slightly larger battery. There won't be a huge increase, but the actual battery life will actually be improved, not only because of the slightly larger battery, but because of the more efficient LPDDR4 RAM, smaller nanometer construction of the Apple A9 chip, as well as a more efficient LTE and NFC chip. The new low power saving mode in iOS 9 will certainly help as well. Alright, so this leaves me with a few smaller changes I'd like to mention. First off, high resolution audio support. That means a lightning connector headphones for higher quality audio. Also this new reversible USB charging cable. So if you actually remove it from this plug, you can actually plug it in upside down and it'll work exactly the same. That's because of the design inside. The actual design inside is directly in the middle, so it'll just fit any way into a USB jack, and that is really cool. So here's basically the smaller changes that could make their way to the iPhone 6s, and what's definitely not happening is any sort of waterproofing, removable SD card, or battery. A sapphire display is just too expensive and it shatters really easily. Also, major design revisions are not likely to happen this time around. So guys, that's just about it on the feature front. However, I want to talk about the price and release date, but before that, I wanted to share a quote. This is an Apple analyst, and he said, "I think the iPhone 6s will have more more hardware improvements than any other S version that I can remember, and I think it will have a significantly better user experience. So all in all, what this is telling us is that the iPhone 6s, although it is an S upgrade, it'll be significant. There will be a lot stuffed in there, and it will be a worthy upgrade to the iPhone 6, that's for sure. And I wanted to touch on the price and release. And although this is a little bit more speculation, usually we have a rough time frame. So this time around, September 8th to 12th, we're going to see the Apple event revealing the iPhone 6s and 6s Plus. And around September 25th to 28th, we should see a final release. So we can expect that then. Price might rise, although it's not confirmed. If it does rise, it won't be more than $50 to $100. And I wanted to mention that although there was a lot of word on an iPhone 6C happening, a smaller version of the iPhone 6 and cheaper, it won't happen. The reason being, the iPhone 6 sold so much better than the 5S because there was no cheaper alternative. It was either a really old phone or a new, updated, and advanced one. So to wrap it all up, guys, I just wanted to mention that the iPhone 6s is going to be quite a significant upgrade. There will be a lot inside that will make you want to upgrade from an iPhone 6, especially if you're running an older version of the iPhone. I mean, Force Touch, a new color, there's going to be a new material, it's going to be a ton faster, there'll be a base size of 32 gigabytes and 4K video with a new sensor. All very exciting, and I'm really looking forward to getting this thing in my hand, reviewing it, and seeing how it stacks up to the iPhone 6. But from what we're seeing, from what all the analysts are saying, this is going to be significantly the best S upgrade to any iPhone yet. So there you go, guys. That is everything we know about the iPhone 6s and iPhone 6s Plus. Sorry this video was a little long. There's just so much out there, so many leaks and confirmations for the new features. I wanted to include everything. Hopefully this gave you an idea of what to expect in the iPhone 6s. Will it be worth it? Only the final release will be able to tell us that, comparing it to the older version. And on my channel, I'm going to be having everything: reviews, unboxings, comparisons, so stay tuned for all of that. Be sure to check out many of my other videos on the iPhone 6s. Enjoy your current 6 and have a great day. Peace.